Well, I got a call from Grandpa Dick in April. He said I needed to come back home to Iowa for a surprise party for Grandma Betty. You see, Grandma and Grandpa had been married for 50 years, and he wanted all the family and friends to be there for the celebration. And I know I couldn't miss a party 50 years in the making. And this is their story of love, life, and family.
Well, that's only 23 years old. That's a new one practically.
Christmas in 1980. Shelley film 1979. She must have been little. Jamie's first birthday.
See what you're getting into?
On those big reels, so they take a little longer.
Hello, Shen. Have you still got an 8mm film projector like we all have somewhere hid away? Have you? Can we borrow it? BJ's making,
Super 8 too?
putting them on, some of her films on.
I think it's the
on
same
tape,
thing, Grandma.
and the
No,
bulb
you
burned out
had
in
to
ours.
switch that from 8 to Super 8.
Really?
See, ours has been sitting around 15 years, and somebody hit a boop, it went, and that was it. Well, if it don't work, it don't work. If we didn't have all these film, we'd just throw it away anyhow. But
I don't know.
I'll
This is
be
one of
over.
the first ones because it's 64.
I have to go and get it. You better go get it because you're supposed to visit with Sharon anyhow.
I know.
It's your job.
If it's ours was a Super and a regular 8.
Super 8 or regular 8?
So you did both.
Go get the damn bulb with you. Or is it a private thing?
No, come on.
Huh?
Yeah, come
Why don't go
on.
with them? It's Christmas 1964.
Oh, wait, sorry, hang on.
Mm.
Sorry, Grandma.
And me. Yeah, and Sherry sitting next to her and Gary. And Terry.
For 3 days, Grandma and I transferred all their 8mm film to tape. It had been something she wanted to do. This was my gift to them, to help preserve their memories of the numerous celebrations, vacations, and just plain goofing around over the years. It was quite a sight to see, a glimpse into their history. The day for Grandma's surprise had arrived, and it was time for us to go.
So what's the secret to 50 years of...
What?
What's the secret to 50 years?
You just
Do what you're
never
told.
ever talk back to her.
Do it, check, Grandma?
Oh,
What?
you're told.
What's the secret to 50 years?
Do what you're told.
Did you hear that, Grandpa?
What'd
You're
you
supposed
say?
to do what you're told
No,
for 50
I
years.
have to do what I'm
You have to
told.
do what you're told?
Yeah.
When was that?
Tonight.
When did you do what you're told?
I got dressed.
Oh, okay. I dressed you. That didn't have nothing to do with that.
So
I can't do it by myself.
what I'm curious about is how did you two meet, first of all?
Ice skating, wasn't it? Wasn't it ice skating?
I don't remember anything.
You don't
about it.
remember?
I think you overtook me. An innocent young child, you just grabbed me and led me to the slaughter like a lamb.
Oh, you poor baby.
Well, that's what happens. I was doing great before then. I had a steady girlfriend and I was in love and everything else. Suddenly you come upon me, captured me, took me away from my sweetheart, and she hated you for it. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You were her best friend and you took me away from her.
Yeah, you were done with her before I knew you.
Yeah, I was done with her almost.
We went together 2 years before we were married.
And she was
Yeah.
still a virgin. I mean, you don't think about it much when I married her. In fact, the day after I married, she was still a virgin. Don't happen very often. I don't want to go 80.
No,
No.
I don't think so. You don't need another
that can get
ticket.
expensive.
So, Grandma, when did he first ask you to marry him?
I don't remember.
Yeah, who asked who to marry? You did that. You
I
remember
think it was
all right.
mutual.
You went by the jewelry store accidentally. Let's look in here. Oh, that's a nice ring, the one she had picked out a week earlier. Oh, isn't this nice? We could be engaged for Christmas.
Did you have it all planned out, Grandma?
No.
Bullshit. We went to the movie and just happened to walk by there. Let's go this way. They did the same thing for her ring the other day for the 50th anniversary ring. Same
No
trick.
idea.
Come on, let's walk by this jewelry store and see what they got. The only thing she had her daughter's helping her this time. It just ain't fair. The men never got a chance when they set their trap for you.
So you're married at what church? You remember the name?
St. Paul's Lutheran.
St. Paul's Lutheran, and that's in Dubuque?
Yeah.
Where was the honeymoon at?
We didn't have a honeymoon.
You didn't have a honeymoon? You didn't get a honeymoon, Grandpa?
No, a year later we went to Chicago for 2 days. That was our
It took us 2 days to get there.
We lived in a camper trailer.
In his mother's backyard till he got this little house built in Daytonville.
No heat, except the cook stove. But she was hot-blooded. We didn't hardly notice it. No running water, no toilet, but we did have lights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who was the first baby? Your first baby?
Gary.
Gary. And what year was that? Do you remember?
I came out of the hospital on my wedding anniversary.
Well,
Wow, I guess you weren't messing around, Grandpa and Grandma.
well, we didn't waste a lot of time. And the next one,
Sherry. She was born 11 months after
Wow.
Gary. Almost 12 months.
And then Terry.
And then Terry was born a year and a half after Sherry.
Jeez, Grandpa, what are you doing?
I said, when you got good stuff, you don't fool around. You go for it.
We moved on Nicholas Street when Sherry was baby. Well, we lived there until 1961. And then we moved out into Piasta. And Tina was born in
That was a little bit longer. What was the big
1963.
gap?
We found out what was causing it. But then I fell a big tree on my leg and broke me up to the hip. And I couldn't move around in a cast. I couldn't roll off. And she took advantage of it and got pregnant. That's exactly where Tina come from. You can count the months. Right out. So Tina's lucky I got crippled up. It's all that saved her.
And so, Grandma, what's your favorite thing about Grandpa?
I don't know.
Did you hear that?
No.
She said that he don't know.
There ain't nothing you like about me, right?
I didn't say that. I see he wants to know what my favorite thing was.
What's your favorite thing about Grandma, Grandpa?
Well, her personality is so wonderful. And in all the years, she always, whatever I asked her what wanted to do, she agreed with it. I don't know if that was stupid or not, but that's how we did did things. Quit my jobs, hired me up, she just agreed. Can't hardly beat that. And I kept her in the lap of luxury all that time.
Life, let's just say life has been very interesting.
I think our trip to Egypt was probably the most interesting over the years. Just the two of us. That was probably the best. Can't say one good thing.
Just got done giving me an ultimatum.
You gave Grandma an ultimatum.
No, she knew exactly the rules and she had to abide by them. And I told her what time we were leaving. It was no surprise.
I thought I was going to have to run down the driveway.
You told me what time we'd be there.
Huh?
You told me what time we'd be there.
Larry needs at least an hour if we're late because he's got to play.
He doesn't play till 7.
Last time he had to quit before we were done eating.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He went early to set up. Or he was going to
Well,
go
that's what
early
I
to set
meant.
up.
Whatever.
Well, I can't help it took that long. We were having trouble.
Hey, I wasn't trying to
Things
hurry up.
happened. No, it didn't sound like it.
I wasn't trying to hurry at all. There was plenty of time. You had 5 minutes. You had 5 minutes extra. You could have waited another 5 minutes.
So in 50 years, you guys have never argued, right?
Are you kidding?
You've never heard us have an argument.
Argue.
Have you ever heard us have an argument? Never. And just I usually just say whatever you say, dear. That's it.
Everybody knows better.
Don't you remember Grandma Beulah and Louie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's an argument.
I haven't hit him over the head
That's
with
an
a
argument.
cake pan or anything like she did.
No, I found that if I just turn her over my knees about once every 3 or 4 months and spank her butt, everything's fine. It's funny, but that's how it works. And she reacts to that well. Don't ya?
No.
No. Just the threat of it's what's got you scared.
Don't do any good to argue with you. You're a bullheaded German.
A what? So not if I can't find anything good about me, now much she's saying bad things about
Well, you are.
me. Let's just go home. We'll have pizza. Jeez.
Pizza sounds good.
Taking a woman out and whining and dining her. What did she do? Well, let's put it this way. I've given that woman the best years of my life. What else can I do? Now it's too late for me to get some good ones, so I'm stuck with her.
Thank you.
You know, before I could have got one, but who the hell?
You got all them old ladies chasing after you all the time.
Well, Becky's going through the personal things trying to find one. You can't even find me one in there. She just loves that. Let's see Becky go through that. Well, here's one, Grandpa, maybe. I said, well, all she has to do, Becky, when you call her, she's got to be willing to do the dishes and everything else. But then maybe Grandma and I can take her in.
Okay, now. She's coming. Okay. They're getting her. It's okay. She'll make it in.
What's all this? What are you guys doing?
I'll shoot no other, buddy.
Wait a minute. You got a smell?
What do you think of all this shenanigans?
I can't believe it. What do you think, Betty? Is it a surprise?
Were you surprised?
No wonder you had to be here at 5:30, right? No, I'm forgiven.
I was trying to rush.
He knows all this.
I was trying to rush.
And I did all this too. It took me 6 weeks to print up all the stuff and buy them in that for your family. Oh, that's pretty new.
They ordered Bob the button. Put it in and burned out. But they gave it to I couldn't.
Enemies?
No, none of them. I got.
Yes.
Yeah.
You too? You should.
I grew a little bit.
My youngest is our baby.
It's been a few years.
What are you doing back here?
Who's Miss Pregnant? Annie.
Dad, how many do I recognize? Who's the other one? It's the other brother. Yeah.
You want to go home now, Grandma? Should we just go home now, or?
I told you you'd be home by 7.
Yes. Yes.
He's good, Grandma. Yeah, good. Got him on there. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. No. He's not getting it.
Anything you want to tell the world?
I'm going to, and when we get eaten, I'm going to. Oh, is that why? Did you tell her that? Anybody else, it wouldn't have mattered. I'm going to talk, and I know from notes, and I'm going to ask a couple other people to talk to. Thanks for keeping a secret. Betty, I'm sure had no idea. Amanda almost tipped her off yesterday. Because we called off the party we were having at the fairground, it's really nice that you all came down. And we appreciate that, except for 1 or 2 of you. Thank you, Dick. Now, I'm going, well, people have asked how Betty's doing, and I think she's doing good. She's going to Iowa City the 8th, and if it works, then, if it does work, then she'll go ahead and get surgery and she'll have a new knee sometime before July, we hope. Maybe. And if it don't work, I guess it don't. So, it'll work. And the only prayer that we need right now is I'd like us just to say a prayer, if you mind, that works out for Betty. If you mind holding your hand. Lord, Betty's going to need some help in the next couple weeks. So give us some help and let this work out for her on this surgery. Amen.
And Dad's gonna need some help taking care of the house. Yes,
You already got it, Nanny. Now there's one person that's missing here. You have to wait for your turn.
I got a key.
There's one person that's missing here, and that's Gary. And Pickle's going to speak for Gary now. You got that thing? Well, not Pickle. Matt. Matt, where you at?
Same thing.
Over your left.
He's going to speak for Gary. He's going to read Gary's pen. Some of you.
Cody, take your movie back. Cody can take your movie.
Why didn't you tell me there was yellow?
Pipe down.
outside?
Pipe down.
It's chocolate light.
Quiet.
You didn't tell me.
Quiet
Go
now.
for the chocolate.
Ready? Today is a day for happiness, filled with hope and cheer, as you celebrate your tomorrows with the one you hold so dear. Your promise to each other, with the simple words I do, to love and trust and cherish the bond between you two. And quench the thirst of sorrow before a fight can brew. Don't ever take for granted the love between you two. That was from Gary. He wrote that a long time before he
Now bear with me because I'm going to cover a little ground here. Most of you know most of this stuff, but we're wondering where the world, how this all got started. Some of this is addressed to my kids, but I said they were blessed with a wonderful mother. I've had the privilege of having a lover, mate,
He's crying.
wife, supporter, and mother of my children. And the dirty little pup on the way down here, she was being interviewed by BJ, and she said, "What's the one thing you remember most or like most about your husband?" And she couldn't think of anything. She said she didn't know one thing more than the other. I didn't know I told her.
I like the way he sweeps the floor, Well, you know,
Okay, and I said, how lucky you kids are that I went ice skating 50 years ago and I didn't even have any skates or didn't know how to skate. I remember that. A guy had a date with Shirley, and the girls weren't allowed one to go without the other, and so he asked me to go with him so the two girls could go ice skating. So I went to the Mission. That's where we did our big buy-in at that time, and bought a pair of skates for 50 cents or something. And I went ice skating.
Where'd you get the 50 cents?
Yeah. If you were really poor, they would give it to you. That's where we bought our shoes and so on. That was our Walmart. But, okay. And I come out there, and I didn't know what I was getting, but here's this, and seriously, beautiful red-headed gal. Almost, 5, 6, 7, 8, something. And she could skate backwards, forwards, anything. And I don't know why, but she had a fella that she liked, and his dad happened to be Ray Holman. He was way above anything we were, but she decided it was okay to skate with me. And I hung on her, and she skated backwards all over the pond. And we had a fire. Well, this is 2 miles from our house, and so I don't think I've seen her again, not for a long time anyway. And I had a lady friend that I've been going with for a year, and she thought we were serious, I don't know. But anyway, so at school, and when I'd get to school for some reason, she and her friend would be outside our homeroom door, which they were close to them visiting, just by chance, you know. And then I was a hall monitor by the cafeteria, and we didn't eat in the cafeteria, because I never had money. But
Like she was chasing you, right?
But anyhow, suddenly she started coming by the hall monitor and hanging on there. I thought, God, this one must like me, you know. I didn't know what the hell, so I dumped Katie right there. That was her best friend, by the way, then. And, anyhow, she lived 2 miles from us, and we had no way of getting there but walking. And so I did start walking there. And her dad never liked me at all, because I was, and I don't blame him. He worked across the street from us, and he knew what kind of a clan we were. There were 8 of us kids, plus 2 or 3 others, and we lived in the dump. In the backyard was the washing machine.
And Barb.
Barbie. Barb was one of our sisters, and Bailey and Johnny. Anyhow, different time.
Anybody else that wanted to come along?
If you went out the backyard, we had the old washing machines, 3 or 4, and 3 or 4 Davenports, and everything else. It was really something. And her dad had enough sense to realize that we didn't have anything, you know.
Sanford.
And I would have been the same way. And I couldn't even get in his house for probably 6, 8 months. I never got in his house. I didn't know what it looked like. But I kept bugging his daughter anyhow. What did you keep doing? But okay.
Never mind.
So then it come warm weather and we couldn't skate, so I walked out there. We would go and walk up over the hill. It was a jungle, the drive-in theater, and we sit on the steps up there. When it got later in the year, we would steal, I would steal, go over and steal grapes and thing out of the truck farmers there, and we'd have our snack on the steps, get mosquito feed us up. Then when I got to knowing her better, her cafeteria money her dad gave her, we could go to Johnny's across the street and each buy a Coke and a hot dog, or not a hot dog, one of the little cherry pies. And so that was our dinner. That we made out pretty good. I was getting money out of her already. Then I got a job at a gas station nights, and we made 50 cents an hour. And we bought a 32 Chevy for $65.
Did we make
Then
that
we went
much
going,
that
didn't we? We hit the road.
Did we make that much an hour there?
Yeah.
50 cents an
Ever since
hour.
I-
Burger?
Yeah. And so we saved $350. And we bought, after she sucked me into a ring someplace, a new refrigerator, and that's the only thing we bought new, and most of it was all Mission and used furniture, everything else. And the refrigerator's still in Terry's garage. That's 50 years ago, and I guess it's still running. But then we got married, in a rainy, cold, miserable day, if you remember. We moved in to Joanne's camper trailer in the yard with no electricity, electricity with no water and no heat. And it was cold, even with a hot-blooded lady like that, it was cold.
That's where Gary was started.
Anyhow,
Danny too, I think.
There you go.
anyhow,
Spots.
it's been 50 years, it's been a long trip, but it's been a good one, and I appreciate her. And somebody said, well, has she changed in 51 years? I don't think so. I think she's the same good-looking old redhead. we met sitting around a burning tire out in the pond. And she's, in fact, she's better than she was then. And she's mellowed some. You got rid of her red hair.
It's a good thing she mellowed. She's mellowed some.
Somebody asked me not very long ago, it must be really hard to have your wife in a wheelchair. It's really tough. And I said, no, it really ain't. It's the same old lady that I had 50 years ago. Just as good as she was then. If she didn't have no legs, she'd still be the same gal to me. And I said if she didn't have legs at all, I'd still love her anyhow. The only difference is now she can't skate. But I never could skate with the dam anyway. It didn't make any difference. How lucky we all are to be there. Now I wanted Tina to say something.
We celebrate the anniversary of these two special people. I want to note that the one most important thing that I've learned from them is that family is everything. And that love can't always fix it, but it sure can make it easier. Love and devotion to each other is what makes a marriage work. But I don't have to tell any of you that. This extended family seems to have gotten the message. Judging from the number of you who will be celebrating your golden anniversary or who already have. I've seen this devotion when this woman patiently kept suppers warm for this man for hours because he was off at an auction, refusing to eat until he came home. I've seen it in this man when he stepped in to do the housework, though not necessarily the same way. When his wife wasn't able.
And the laundry.
Yes.
And the laundry. And I've seen it in the tears that he shed when he realized how he almost lost her a couple months ago. And I saw it in this family when you all rallied around them, offering your support. And I'm, for one, very glad to be here with all of you tonight. I grew up in a home that had unconditional love, and if I could pass on one thing to my children, it'll be that I will always love them, and their grandparents will always love them, and that they were incredibly lucky to have such wonderful grandparents, and that they should never take them for granted. Thank you.
I just want to tell everybody thank you for working on the quilt. We gave them the middle portion last week and they were both very, very surprised. We have almost 72 squares now, and when Mom gets her knee pretty well going. We're gonna sit down and put it together with Mom and Dad telling us where to put all the things. So every one of them in here donated one or gave an idea for one. So it's kind of a memory quilt from everybody.
And it was a surprise. Thank you all.
Did you like the what?
I like it.
Oh yeah, the truck and the mud.
You're done speaking.
I know. So anybody who likes to sew can come and help, and when it's all finished, they'll have to have you come down and see it, but it's going to be beautiful. So thank you, everybody, because we all kept it a secret, too, didn't we, Mom? Yeah.
I'm looking for Terry. Where's he at?
He's right back there.
Right
He ran out.
Wait for Terry to say something. Speak up. Here's your chance to say it. You won't. You won't.
They said it, haven't they, Karen?
Can't hear you.
Good and the beer's cold.
All
Waiting
right.
for everybody to get in there because the band room's filling up.
Yeah, we better get seats.
What?
Better get seats in there.
I know, but we got to finish here.
Yes, we do.
Dick, just the next time that you have one of these, in the next 50 years, don't tell us to come to the...
Wrong place. He was downtown.
Read the directions. This is Main Street. Down in the certain month we brought right on by. And the date on it was 2000.
Did you catch that?
Was
2004?
2004. Andy printed it. 2004.
He might have got a good one.
And he said welcome to fall.
Okay, Wendy.
Okay, listen, Wendy's speaking there. One of the old streets.
Yeah. I wasn't there in the beginning, obviously. Thank you. Other than that. But I know that over the years, we've all of us kids have always talked about in our family. Like you said, Tina, family's very important. Roger was amazed by that we all knew each other, that we all got together and we all did these absurd things at the drop of a hat. And that's something that I know my kids will always remember, is going to your house and riding in the dune buggy or riding the horses or going canoeing or that too. You know, I can remember one day in particular when Joe and I and my mom and dad were over at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and it had rained for a week, and we got bored and called you up and said, can we come over? Well, sure, I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll find something to do. Well, Aunt Betty was an encouraging person also, and we wanted to go for a dune buggy ride. But it was just me and you, and we didn't know how the heck we were going to get Joe from the wheelchair down here to the dune buggy up here. And I think it was Aunt Betty who said, you know, the bucket of the tractor might do the trick. And so we tipped that wheelchair back in the tractor bucket, and all the first thing out of Dick's mouth was, boy, them people at John Deere better never see that. So Aunt Betty gets the camera out, starts taking pictures, you know, and I'm standing there thinking that chair is going to fall out of there and we're all screwed. But we got him in the thing and we took off and we tied him in, and if we'd have rolled it, Joe would have been fine, but we'd have been gone. You know, he'd have just kept going with it, and we were covered in mud, and you know what? Those are the things that everybody remembers and everybody thinks about all the time. You know, we made a mess of your house all the time.
And then to top it off, there's a swamp down there, and he wanted to go out really fast and come flying off the bank, landed in that much water, and the motor quit right in the middle of the swamp, and he's still tied in there, and we get out, and he said, what are you going to do with me? I said, it was your idea, you stay there.
He was there that day too.
Can I say something, please? Betty, I want to tell you that I'm so happy to have you come and sister. When you come into our family, I've said this before, I'm not sure how long you ever did. But I'm sure happy that you did.
It had to be loved. It had to be loved.
I'm so happy that my sisters and brothers and other ones that aren't sisters and brothers and mine that ain't sisters and brothers are all here. We can get along and get along together in house.
Yes.
With a talk and
We're going to do a happy anniversary tune. We want everybody to dance. Dick and Betty. I watch the gold in your hair turn to silver, and the sparkle in your eyes make me dead, and the touch of your hand on the shoulder like it was just yesterday. So my darling, happy anniversary. You made my life for me. Once again, thanks for the memory. Oh, my darling, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Cheers. The page beside your counter yellow. They're crumbling and are filled with pain. It's meaning we'll cherish forever. But in the book of our life, it's just a moment. So my darling, happy anniversary. You made my life for me. Once again, thanks for the memory. Oh, my darling, happy anniversary.
After the song. I will. I know. I'm busy. Are you trying to hide from me? Hi. Put you right on the spotlight. I don't care.
The pages we signed have now turned yellow. They're crumbling and are filled with age. Its meaning we'll cherish forever. But in the book of our life, it's just a page. So my darling, happy anniversary. You made my life for me. Once again, thanks for the memory. Oh, my darling, happy anniversary. Yes, my darling, happy anniversary. Well, we're not left, Dick. Betty goes, happy 50th anniversary. One, two, three, four. It's leaning on about looking down on the city. The way I feel is the doggone pity. Teardrops rolling down the mountainside. How many times I've been here and how many times I've cried. I used to be so happy when we were high on the mountain of love. Night after night I'm standing here alone, weak in my heart. Oh, bring on the wind. All my mistakes and me and you. Somewhere there's a church with a big ball. Inside the church there's an altar filled with flowers. There they are. There's the stars. Thank